Hi, hello, Vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. So today I have got a comment under our Azure pipeline testing. So where we used to run our JMeter test using the Azure repository and Azure pipeline. So the question is, where do you set the runtime settings like user load and the test duration, etc.? So that's actually a very good question. And in fact, he has asked even another question on working with Azure DevOps, and there is a requirement to run a load test. So we will see how to do these today in this video. And before we move on to this video, this is me, Yoshin Shanmugam. I welcome you all to Little Slaw YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Give a thumbs up, which is like a video, like my video, and give a like to the video, and share the video with your friends. And yep, let's go to the video. I'll do from the scratch so that I can give you an idea on how does this part works, which is how to increase the user load and test duration. So for that, let me go to the JMeter, and here I have a sample script, a sample example. So I have a thread group. So what I will do is let me change the name of this thread group to thread group 1, and let me save it, and then let me duplicate this thread group. We duplicate it some 2 to 3 times so that yeah, so now we have 3 thread groups. In case if you are doing a load test, you will be having multiple thread groups and multiple scenarios, right? So that's the reason I'm trying to replicate that same part here. And then for now I'm going to disable the view results tree because I do not want this to run. Since we all know this will, okay, let me disable all these reports, and the one here as well, and all the other reports here. So let me disable all of them and let me save it. So we now have 3 thread groups, and what I'm going to do is I have the thread group 1. So in this I'm distributing the user to like 10 users, and I'm going to run this test for let me change it to infinite, and I'm going to run this test for like seconds. So like for 5 minutes. So again, I understand this is going to be low test, but still I do not want you to wait for a long time to view the entire test, right? Entire process. So I'm changing this to 300, and then coming to the second thread group. So here I'm going to increase it to 30 users, and I'm going to specify the thread lifetime, which is going to be again 300 because I want to run all the users for the same duration. So here again I'm going to add 100 users, infinite, and same here, like it's going to be 300, right? So now let me save it. So let me save this test plan as, under this I'm going to save it as easy devops minus load test. So this is our test name, and now we'll go to the Azure DevOps page. So far what did we do is we have come to the JMeter. We have created multiple thread groups like how we do for the load test preparation. And then now I'm opening the DevOps project. And here I'm going to import the project, right? So I'm going to repos, and let's upload the file. So let me go back to the C drive, and Apache JMeter 5.6.3, then the bin folder, if controller demo, AC DevOps lotus.jmax. Okay, so now I have opened the file, and yep, I'm going to commit it. So this will bring the script inside the Azure DevOps. So here, let's now search the thread group name. So for example, if you see, we have got thread group 1, 2, and 3. So here, let's go back to the question now so that I can tell you what we are going to do. So here, if you see, our subscriber want to change the settings, the runtime settings, just like the user load and the test duration, right? So coming back to the thread group here, if you see, we have got the threads, right? The same part like we see here, the thread group, which is a number of threads here. So in case if I want to update it, right? So I have to click the edit button, and then I'm going to add another 10 users. So this is going to be 20 users. And if you see here, I've got the duration, right? So I'm going to run this for like 600 minutes. And then if you see the loop controller loops, which is the number of iterations. So this is set to -1, which means this will be dependent only on the duration, right? And now let's go back to the, so here if you see I have a uniform random timer which is set. And then let's go to the thread group 2. Let me search thread group. Yep. So here we have got thread group 2. So I'm going to reduce this load to half of the actual user load, and the duration is going to be 600. And now let's search the next thread group, which is thread group 3. So here I'm going to again reduce it to like 75% of the user load, and I'm going to keep the duration to 600, and I'm going to even change the ramp up time to 10 so that there will be like some space, some breathing space between each user to log in. So now let's do a commit, and I've committed the changes. Now let's go back to the releases. So this is where we are going to uh, create our JMeter load test. So I'm going to create a release, and going to the add an artifact. We all know the script is inside the Azure DevOps. So let me choose the JMeter continuous deployment. Again, the continuous deployment. The default branch is going to be main. The default version is latest from the default branch, and then I'm going to add it. Coming back to the stage, let me choose empty job and then the task. And now the first job is going to be JMeter installer, and then the command line, and finally upload artifacts, right? So now we have all these three things, which is installing the JMeter command line script and then upload release artifact. And I'm going to change this to 5.6.3. So this is the version which I have in my mission. So I'm going to use the same version. And then under the control options, I'm not making any changes. In the output variables, there is nothing that's required. And in the command line script, I have to give the command line script to run the JMeter test. So now let's enter the command, which is JMeter -n space -t, and then the test file name, which is, let me save the test plan. Let me get this name, easy minus devops minus load test. I can even get the name here. Let me go back to the repos and then click on it, rename, get the name of the file, and come back to the command prompt. So now I'm going to give the results dot jtl minus e space minus o reports, and then the advanced, and I'm going to select the working directory, which is the JMeter continuous deployment Azure, then the control options. So I'm not going to make any changes in here, and then the environment variables, nothing is added as part of it. And then the output variables, I'm not going to make any changes here. So no other values are added. And then the upload artifacts, I'm going to choose the same folder and no other changes. So let's save it and create a new release for this testing. So the release one is created and it started to run. So let's join after the test is completed. So let's wait until the test is getting completed and then we will join to see how this load test has been executed. So we are running this load test with almost around 100 plus users for 10 minutes. And in fact, yeah, like I told you earlier, so the duration you can set in your own way, like how you want to test it. And the reason I have kept the time in a lesser way, in a small quantity, is to make sure I do not want you to get bored. So that's the reason I have kept a smaller quantity. And I will meet you at the end of the test in another few seconds. So now the test has almost completed, and let me just take you through a quick look. So this is how you can view the results. The execution. So if you can see, let me go back. Yeah. So here, if you can see, you can watch. You can see the um, summary. It's a kind of a brief summary, so it will tell you like the minimum response times. The maximum response times, and is there any errors? So far there are like no errors, and everything goes fine. And you could see we have got 110 users in the test, and at the end we have got 0 users, and all those 110 users has got completed their execution. And so yeah, so this is just a brief about how you can view the results during the testing in the command line prompt using your Azure DevOps. And the upload release artifacts is now running. So since we have got little amount of data compared to our normal test, so it will take few more seconds to upload the release logs to the data. So let's wait for a few more seconds to see the results. So now I have downloaded the logs, and I'm going to extract the reports. And just before that, I would like to bring to your notice that I have made some changes in here. So I have enabled all these reports. So I accept the view results tree. I have enabled all the reports, and I have made these changes as well in the script. I can just show it to you real quick. So if I go to the repos and files in the AC DevOps test, so summary report. So I have all these reports here, and let me just go back to the results. So the test has completed now. Yes, and as I have told you, let me just show you the results now. And here, yeah. So if I go to the repos and coming back to the script, and if I search for the reports, so the summary report here is enabled. So I have enabled all these reports: the summary report, the aggregate report, the backend listener, the aggregate graph. So whatever reports I want, I have enabled them because I want to view those results. And then coming back to the system here, and if you see, I have got all these reports and they are enabled. So if you see here that they are enabled equal to true, and the aggregate graph is enabled equal to true. So I have made these changes. I have edited these, and then I have updated it. So in case if you really do not want to have this, you can just change it to false. And if you want to view the results, you can change it to true. And after I run this results, I have extracted the reports. And so here, let me go back to this. I'll show you. So attempt one, agent job again. And then I have extracted this folder, and I have got the folder here. And then I have got this results.jtl file. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this file in the JMeter. So here, if you see, I've opened this file in the results.jtl, and I could see these samples, its average response time, its minimum response time, its maximum response time. So since this script was actually used for one of the other examples, so that's the reason you could see like there were like lots and lots of transactions. And then let's open the results in the aggregate report. So here, if you can see the previous summary report, you can see the minimum, maximum, average. But in the aggregate report, you can see the 90th percentile, the 95th percentile, and the 99th percentile response times. And then coming to the aggregate graph. So let me open the result and coming to the graph. So here you can see the response times were quite high on the beginning of the test, and then towards the end they were like slowing down. And then summary results we have, and then response time graph. So let me open the results here. I'll show you how does it work. So here, since there were like lots of lots of requests, we could not see it properly. But if you have these requests, like 10 to 15 transactions, automatically the response time graph will be displayed very beautifully here. And then I believe, yep. So here, if you see, we have got the active threads over time. So there were like 15 threads, and then 25 threads, and then 75 threads which are executed during the test. And then let's go to the bytes throughput over time. And here you can see we have got the amount of bytes that's been sent and received during the test. So here at the bottom, like the amount of data that's been sent, and at the red color is telling you how much data is being received during this test. And let's watch the hits per second. So here you can see we have got they were following in a rhythmic pattern, so which means the test was fine and there were like no errors. And then the last graph, which is response time versus threads. Yep, same here. Since we have got a lot of requests, we could not see it properly. So the thing is, you can enable all these graphs for your load test, but if you are running it in non-GUI mode, they run very well. There won't be any issues. But if you are running it in GUI mode, it will be very difficult for you to handle because, as I have already told you, the memory will be uh, messed up and you might not be able to run the test. So in this video, so actually we have started in a different concept, but then we have ended up here. So the first part here we have started is can we edit the load and then the duration? Yes, we can edit the load and the duration in the thread group, and it's here. So the thread group, we can edit the number of threads, you can edit the ramp up time, the duration of the test, and then if you want to do multiple iterations, you can enable it here in the loop count here. And then so whatever settings you have made in your JMeter, you can override them here, and then once the test is completed, you can export the JTL file and you can watch all the results. So with that, I come to an end, and I believe this video would be very useful to you. So in case if you have any doubts or any questions, please do comment in the comment section, and we will see that in the next video. So until I meet you in our next video, it's bye bye from Vasan Shanmugam and your favorite Little Slaw YouTube channel. Bye bye.